Hello, and welcome to another T.H.CooneyArt video. In this video, I would like to talk about my all-time favourite song, Killer, written by the British artist Adamski and performed by the British singer Seal. You may have heard this song a few times on my channel. No surprise there, I've used it in several videos, and here's another one. I just love it that much. Adamski is the professional name of Adam Paul Tinley. Born in Lymington, Hampshire, England, on December 14th, 1967. He is also known as Sonny Erickson. He became a DJ, musician, singer, and music producer, and was prominent at the time of Acid House, known especially for his song Energy and Killer. Seal is the stage name of...
Well, I'm not even going to attempt that.
Who was a musician and record producer. Born on February 19th, 1963, in Paddington, London. He specialised in pop, R&B and soul. Adamski and Seal were in near financial ruin at the time, and then they released Killer, which topped the charts in 1989, the year I was born, and rocketed Adamski and Seal to fame, turning a relatively unknown DJ and R&B artist into a household name. The song would be rewritten and improved on over the next few years, and in 1991 it would come to fruition with its full orchestral version, which is the version I love. There exists 3 versions that I know of. The original, the music video version, and the full orchestral version. Several other versions exist, covered by various artists and independent creators, including a strings version by Pete Tong, George Michael's cover version, and even an acoustic version on YouTube. I wanted to talk about this song because in my opinion it is virtual perfection. A flawless song. And if a song has so many cover versions, it must be good. I know that good and bad songs is one of the most debated topics of human history, but this to me is perfection. I knew about the song Killer for a long time before I decided it was my favourite. In the 90s when I was a kid, I would always watch this VHS of various Seal music videos, and I loved them. They were amazing, crazy,
but we're never gonna survive unless we get a little crazy.
Future Love Paradise,
And the riders will not stop us, 'cause the only love they'll find is paradise.
The Beginning,
And on in our mind, music takes you round and round and round and round and round.
and of course the part I look forward to the most, Killer.
Every brother, is there still a part of you that wants to live? Sorry to resist.
So why is it called Killer, you might ask? Why such a morbid name? Well, Adamski simply felt that the rhythm sounded like that of a murder scene from a movie or a TV show. Before I found this out, I thought it was connected to the lyrics. We'll talk about those later. A creative song is one whose title doesn't mirror the lyrics. Killer is a unique title because nowhere in the song is that word sung, only spoken in the intro, during one of Seal's moral statements. Songs like Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick and Leave Me Alone, I bet the artists were like, what should we call them?
It was called On.
And don't get me started on hymns. Every single one of them is named after the first lyric in the song. I know it's a tradition, but you don't get much less creative than that. So, what better way to begin a song than a dreamy rhythmic string piece? Rather than a jarring start-up, we are slowly broken into a beautiful orchestra of violins, cellos and double basses, playing a glorious, psychedelic and somewhat tragic tune, followed by additional wandering sounds and lyrics by Seal. Just before we enter the beat, we hear this cool rumbling buzz, as if to signal that we're about to get something good. And we sure are. And then a sound that sounds like rubbing two coins together. I swear I heard that same sound on The Lion King's Be Prepared. Everything about these sounds and this rhythm just speaks the word cool. Listen to it. The song has what I consider to be a unique rhythm. Most songs have that traditional 1-2-1-2 rhythm, usually with a bass drum and a snare drum. But Killer's rhythm is kind of like 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, over and over again. That 5-beat rhythm could be used in a promotional clip or a logo soundtrack, but instead it's being used here as a song, repetitively. It sounds like it shouldn't work, but it does. And having so many stages in the main rhythm has a huge advantage. Let me explain. It's difficult to squeeze different instruments into a 1-2-1-2 rhythm, but this rhythmic style is wide and flexible, allowing so much space for a vast number of instruments. And Killer takes full advantage of this. It's its greatest strength. The more a song conforms to its rhythm, the more I like it. I hate those slow romantic songs like If I Ruled the World or What a Wonderful World. Their lyrics just don't follow the beat at all. I know it's an established and loved style, each to their own. But in my opinion, why would you sing a song as if you've got the wrong sheet music? Why would you sing all over the place and completely out of rhythm? Our heartbeats are in rhythm. Therefore, music should be. Just the beginning of the song includes pounding percussions, electrical synthesizers, cymbals, and of course the electric roaring guitar that really emphasizes a sense of coolness in the rhythm. All the instruments play completely different sounds, and yet they all conform to the rhythm. This is just so brilliant. Another example of this would be Mike Oldfield's Tubular Bells 3, which starts with the iconic piano theme, adds a xylophone, then an electric mixing table, then the percussions, the bass, and just continues to add more and more sounds. All very different, yet harmonious. And not only that, each instrument sort of gives way to the other. You can't just pile loads of instruments into a song and expect it to work. It might make the track sound a bit too busy. But these instruments sound as if they're doing a group dance, and they give way to each other, rather than fight for attention. Now we'll talk about the lyrics. It took me a while to decipher their meaning, but I think it portrays breaking free from a constrictive society, like religions or dictatorships, or even family obligations. So you want to be free to live your life the way you want to be. But breaking free in the face of important responsibilities could have consequences. A beloved disciple leaving a religion could upset other worshippers. A daughter of a religious family proposed to a man through an arranged marriage could bring dishonor upon her family if she leaves. It could even be a reference to coming out as gay and a family going through that undesirable adjustment period. But what really matters is love. As long as you love your family anyway, that's what heals the damage. Jaded hearts heal with time. Shoot that love so we can stop the bleeding. Sadly, many family members and groups don't function this way. Breaking tradition only too often leads to desertion and estrangement. So the message of the song is to try not to see that. Try to see what really is important, which is the love between families, regardless of where each member feels it must go. I cannot tell you how sick to death I am of love songs. There's plenty that I like and still listen to, but the percentage of love songs out there must be like 60 or even 70%. Always singing about the same things, and usually containing the same lyrics, I and love and you.
Exclusively in that order.
Maybe it's a part of human history. Like birds, we use singing to attract a mate, to serenade the one we love. But it's way too easy. There's so many love songs out there, you could take inspiration from one and pump out a new one with just a few adjustments. They're a dime a dozen. And often they're used by young budding artists as a means to maintain an income or to satisfy the constrictive contract from a music company. That's why Killer's story and lyrics are so unique. When in doubt, write a love song. The music then picks up in a way that brings us into a world of celestial beauty and science fiction wonder. An orchestra of about 20 strings comes into play, nourishing our souls with a gorgeous, dreamy sound. A string accompaniment is nothing new in a song. It's almost standard for most songs. Usually the chorus to add a bit of soul to the song, to distinguish the chorus from the verses. The string background in the chorus of Michael Jackson's Smooth Criminal is a good example of this. Killer is no exception. And then the chimes. Oh my god, these chimes. They're like the cherry on top of a cake that hyper-jumps us into an adventure of gorgeous speed and fantastical wonder. Adamski's original version just used a piano, but I think this is electrical synthesizers. We then come to the first chorus. And that's another thing about this song. Not only does it have a unique rhythm, but it doesn't follow the usual structure of a song. Most songs are verse 1, chorus, verse 2, chorus, bridge, final chorus. But Killer is more like verse 1, verse 2, chorus, bridge, instrumental, final chorus. It was Adamski who wrote the lyrics for the song, and they follow the rhythm in a very traditional way. But it was Seal who asked him if he could do this particular chorus. These follow the beat in a less familiar way, but still do. Solitary brother, is there still a part of you that wants to live? Solitary sister, is there still a part of you that wants to give? These words still connect to the overall meaning of the song. However, they are more questioning. Does the person want to follow this route of independence and desertion? Perhaps they might want to reconsider in the face of survival. After our ears are graced with that fantastic chorus, we come to the instrumental. And if you thought this song couldn't get any more elaborate, we explode into an epic ride of our lives, with more pounding percussion, a piano, and some strange barking sounds. I have no idea what these are, or this screeching. My sister says it's Seal shouting, "Yeah!" at the top of his lungs into a microphone. To me, it sounds like an eagle screeching into a microphone. The chimes are enhanced, and the electric guitar is strummed in a way that sounds like it might explode. Next, before we've had a chance to even catch our breath, Seal changes his voice for the bridge, as if he's talking through a PA announcer. I'm not sure what the reason is for this, but it's an interesting experiment. During this bridge we get a couple of new things added to the entire rhythm. The strings have gotten a little louder and more dominant, and we have some new percussions on top of the familiar beat. A bass drum and a snare drum comes into play with the 1-2-1-2 rhythm. Isn't that funny? I mentioned at the beginning about the 1-2-1-2 rhythm. It's joined our main beat harmoniously. The same thing happens in David Jordan's Sun Goes Down. or Mika's Lollipop.
Mama told me what I should know. Too much candy gonna rot your soul. If she loves you, let her go. 'Cause love only gets you down.
It's a great way of bringing the beat round to something more familiar, but still retaining our unique rhythm. Like warring nations deciding that they fight better together. But then the climax, and oh my god, what a wonderful climax it is.
Solitary brother, is there still a part of you that wants to live? Solitary sister, is there still a part?
Everything comes into play here. Every sound we've ever heard, every instrument we have, they all come together in this epic conclusion of Killer. The rhythm, the iconic lyrics, the sci-fi chimes, and about another 10 strings joins the ensemble and plays louder than ever before, creating an incomparable sense of wonder and majestic beauty. Just listen to those strings. How loud and passionate they get.
Solitary brother,
Really adding a mood of wonder and glory and majesty, and somehow tragic danger to the song. Listen to how the chimes hit the main beat perfectly. Listen to Seal's lyrics, like heading a great ship along its course. The Killer song is complete. Just before the conclusion, notice how the violins get a little bit louder just before cutting off. That's a great way of bookending the strings.
still a part of you that wants to give.
They could just fade out, but instead they exit in style. We ask ourselves once again if there is a part of us that wants to give. And the song gradually dismantles itself, bringing us down from heaven to the ground, rather than jarring us into silence, and returning us to the soulful tranquility of the opening strings. And Seal's usual moral lesson. Killer doesn't just continue playing forever and fade out. I don't like that. It actually has an ending. And finally, the violins vanish, leaving us tired out and ready for a rest. Perhaps I should talk about the music video filmed for one of the versions. If you listen to it, you can immediately tell the difference. It's still the same backbones of the song, with a few minor changes here and there, but no less incredible. Due to the song sounding so astronomical and science fiction-like, it takes place in space, with celestial objects and an abstract theme, with M.C. Escher-style shapes and angles. It was directed by Don Serrell and featured revolutionary CGI. At the time, CGI was still very temperamental and expensive, so they didn't try to go too far with it. They used solid shapes and rotating objects. They didn't try to make things warp and mould, because that's how you end up with Peter Gabriel's Steam in 1992, the first music video to ever use fully flexible CGI models, and the results speak for themselves. This music video kept things controlled, and when it wanted to go all out with its visual artistry, it utilised green screen and practical effects, such as a close-up of a plasma ball for the electrical background, and even green screening sections of Seal's costume to make it take on beautiful patterns and moods. Look at that guitar! Isn't that the coolest guitar you've ever seen? Or maybe it's this one, or this one, or my dad's, or this one, or this one, or this one. For the instrumental, a very fitting explosion takes place, dismantling the set. and treating us to a trippy dance sequence, plastered with bizarre effects and swirling patterns. Following this is an interesting sequence with an inflamed spiral sphere, travelling across various locations of the Earth, with extraordinary natural phenomena happening nearby. The meaning of the entire video isn't very clear.
Space!
I suppose it depends on how you interpret it. It was merely an opportunity for CG artists to go crazy with their creativity and experiment with new technology. For so many years, I would never know that this little blue dude was Dr. Manhattan from Watchmen. I guess this further confirms the video's meaning.
Space!
Is simply to maintain a loose science fiction theme, and you don't get much more sci-fi space than Dr. Manhattan, do you? This was made before the movie Watchmen, so this was probably the first ever three-dimensional render of the character. They will have had to have referred to the Alan Moore comics of the 1980s. Phew! What else can you say about such a great song? It was well written by talented artists, stayed in the top 40 charts for 16 weeks, was praised and congratulated by various critics and magazines. It remains in the top 100 lists of many retrospective media companies, influenced more than one generation, and is still borrowed and used to this day in TV shows, films and games. Although it took me a long time to decide that this song was my favourite, I haven't heard another. Many have come close, but to this day, not one song has surpassed Killer for me, not even one of the dozens of other cover versions. It is my solitary brother, and it will always reside within a part of me that wants to live. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next T.H.CooneyArt video. Ta-ra!